you plan, however I plan, however anyone plans, Krishna's plan is always supreme. 7:10:64 of Bhagavatam. Very, very important. And Prabhupada adds on in the purport to say, we may have so many plans in the world, but until we are ready to remember and accept Krishna's plans, our plans are never aligned. The moment your plan is not aligned to Krishna, the result is you are agitated. Tato anyata kinchana yad vivekshataha pritak drishashtat kritarupanamabihi. 15:14 of Srimad Bhagavatam. Very important verse. It is a verse that tells us why our mind becomes agitated. Our mind becomes agitated when our interest is not aligned with Krishna, when our vision is not aligned with Krishna. So the next time, Prabhus and Matajis, we become disturbed, don't blame anyone. Don't blame the wife, don't blame the husband, don't blame the children, don't blame the employer, don't blame Abu Dhabi. Don't blame anyone. Don't blame Ekadeshi. You just have to look back into your own heart and ask yourself, there is something I am doing that is not aligned in the vision of the Lord. And we may not know the vision of the Lord. Who knows the Lord's plan? But in the 4th chapter, in the 11th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, in the 34th verse, in the purport, Prabhupada writes very nicely, we may not know Krishna's plan because we are not pure devotees. But the spiritual master's plan is as good as Krishna's plan. So if we want to know what is Krishna's plan, all we have to do is look to Prabhupada, who is our supreme spiritual master. All we have to look is to our spiritual masters. Whatever plan they have for us in our spiritual life, that becomes Krishna's plan. You just accept it, you work on it, and you become aligned. And when you become aligned, then we become peaceful. Arjuna only moved according to Krishna's plan. And that's why he was always peaceful. And that is why Mayadanava, because he had touched the lotus feet of Arjuna many years ago, the effect of touching the lotus feet of a devotee, even if you are in desperation for your life, is still so powerful that at the time when this incident happened, Mayadanava pulled the brakes and told all the demons, stop my brothers, no point shooting arrows. Krishna's plan is supreme. Now does Mayadanava, when he says that, sound like a demon or does he sound like a devotee? Devotee. Yes, he sounds like a devotee. Why did he sound like that? Because many years ago, when he came out of that forest, he touched the lotus feet of a devotee. And the effect of that continued to grow in him, such that even at the point when he could have exhibited demoniac qualities and tried to kill Krishna, he pacified his demonic brothers and he told them, we have tried everything we can, but he has a different plan. And the moment Mayadanava said that, Krishna blessed him. Why? Because when Krishna walked out of that Tripura city, he turns to Lord Shiva and he tells him, now the city is open. And if you read Mahabharata very carefully, you will find in this incident and in Krishna book that the 3 cities could only be destroyed if they were all aligned and according to the time when in the stars the constellations are aligned in a certain way. So the practicality of finishing off all 3 cities was almost nil. But you must remember, if Krishna wants something, even the constellations which are away, they can align themselves. We always remember Janmashtami. When people tell us Krishna appeared during an auspicious time, that is wrong. When Krishna appeared, nothing was auspicious. He was in a jail. Not very auspicious. But the moment he appeared, all the stars aligned themselves because Krishna appeared. So never be caught by the idea that Krishna appeared on a very auspicious time. When Krishna appears, everything becomes auspicious. It's the other way around. It's the other way around. And in the same way, when Krishna appeared and told Lord Shiva, shoot that arrow, the moment Lord Shiva put the arrow to his bow, Bhagavatam tells us when he pulled it down, the ground shook, the cities up there shook, the hearts of the demons broke, and even the wives of the demons who heard the twang of the bow of Lord Shiva, they suffered miscarriages. That was how powerful it was. Why? Because the sanction of the Lord had come. And when he shot that arrow was so powerful that it pierced one city, went through the second city, and came out of the third city. And every demon there perished, except for Mayadanava. Krishna spared Mayadanava for the second time in his life. Why? Because of his realization when all the water was drunk. Because of his realization that Krishna has a superior plan. And how did he get that? Because of this incident. He fell at the lotus feet of a devotee. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Srila Gurudev ki, Nitai Gaura Premanjana. This is the essence of Bhagavatam. And I think this is a powerful message on Ekadashi. Bhagavatam has everything, isn't it? Everything. All we need is time. All we need is time. So we end with a few minutes of kirtan, Prabhu?
Not a few minutes, Prabhu.
But you all should sleep, it's already what, 9:60? No, you're not feeling. What if I'm feeling sleepy? I'm joking. Are there any questions? Any comments? Any nice realizations that you have? It would be very nice to hear. So many senior devotees are here. Children, any nice questions? Young men and women. Any violent objections? Hare Krishna. Yes, Samit Prabhu. No, thank you for the association, Prabhu.
To have you here, Prabhu. Thank you very much for wonderful realization as you always present. What gave good fortune to Mayadanav first time to have that intelligence and understanding to go and fall at the feet of Arjuna?
Very nice point. What gave Mayadanav the...
Can you repeat the...
Yeah, that's why I'm repeating. What gave this demon Mayadanav the fortune so that the first time he actually fell at the lotus feet of Arjuna? This question is answered by Jiva Goswami and it's also stated by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. And the reason for it is known as Ajnana Sukriti. Even if we are in a demon body, if we have done some pious activity in the past, or if we have done something for Krishna which appeared very insignificant, but somehow it grew and grew and grew, Krishna is always alert to track it. And at the right time, Prabhu, it blossoms like a flower. And that devotee or demon, whatever that entity is, they get the opportunity to actually see it blossom and fructify into some kind of devotional service. Your question is very relevant because ask yourselves all the same question. What made you all come for a program the first time? What made you all look at Prabhupada's book and decide, okay, maybe I'll read it? What made you all decide, somebody called you and you decide, never mind, of all days, today I will come? Very often when you look back, you will think it is either fortune or it is the grace of the devotee. It is the grace of the devotee. But also it is the result of the power of devotional service. Sometimes we just touch devotional service as we are walking, and in the next life it catches us. If we are all chanting and sitting today, the reason is some past life, or even in our this life, it is because somebody kept calling us every time there was a program and say, Prabhu, please come. Mataji, please come. Yeah, I'm sure there are devotees here who have been doing that to you. And I'm sure sometimes you used to get tired of them. He's going to call me again, put down the phone. Oh, he's going to see me, I better walk away. Some devotees are persistent. They try and find a way and find a way and find a way. There's a very senior disciple of Radhanath Maharaj in Mumbai, Yudhishthir Prabhu. His house is where they do BTG magazine for India, Janki Kutir. So he told me that for 6 years, his friend kept telling him to come to Chopati. 6 years, every day, he would call him, talk to him, and he was a colleague. So he said, I had nowhere to hide, Prabhu. Every time I went, every day. But 6 years, he said, I did not go. The 7th year, he went. And after he went, the friend stopped coming. And he said, today I don't know where he is, but I wish him well. But one day he met his friend again after many, many years. They met on a train. And after meeting him on a train, he spent 2 hours with him. And the next day he brought him back again to the temple. Who is to say what and when? The ways of the Lord are mysterious. But the fructification of the seed is a science. It's a science because Krishna plants it in the heart of the living entity. And then he waters it through the association of devotees through different causes of time. I hope that helps. So even in that, Krishna's hand is there. Yes, Prabhu.
So in this story, from the mind perspective, it appears that Madhava falls on the feet of Arjuna by fear. But actually it is from the emotion of surrender. So if you are doing something with fear, the surrender will not be continued. So how to maintain that continuity? Because it's not...
Very nice point. Very often you will find in your own lives, I found in my own life, that we surrender very often because of fear. Right? Somebody is going to die, we feel very sad, or someone, we want to live. Then we tell Krishna, we bargain with him, or we say, now I surrender to you, or we feel fearful and we surrender. But after that, very often, as you correctly pointed out, Prabhu, the fear doesn't sustain our love for Krishna. The best way to get past that, Prabhu, is transcendental knowledge. When we understand that the principle of surrender should be on the principle of love, Krishna, and not fear, then when we do fear, we immediately replace it with devotional service. That is very important. But that can only come if we have transcendental knowledge of the principle of surrender. If we do not have that knowledge, we won't be able to do it. So that's the first way to do it. That's why Prabhupada gave us books. So that by reading, we come to understand what are the elements of surrender. But the second thing is equally important. If we surrender artificially and nothing checks us, the next time surrender becomes difficult. But in sadhu sangha, in the association of devotees, the devotees will sense how we are surrendering. And by their sangha, they will guide us. They will give us the association and the consciousness to understand that, Prabhu, this kind of surrendering won't help. You should now go beyond this and you should do something about it. So actually, Prabhu, if you have transcendental knowledge on one hand, and you take nice association of advanced devotees who care for you, who look out for you, you'll find that even when we start on the principle which is not entirely right, they will shape it for us and they will help us. That's why it's so important to be together when we do devotional service. Because when we make mistakes, we help each other actually. Is that helpful, Prabhuji? Yes, Prabhu.
There are certain, this pastime, if you can help us to understand, like it is not related to your class.
Okay.
In case of Among Leela, for example, even he made a very major offense to Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya in terms of that when Mahaprabhu was thanking
Yes.
Now and then Among Leela and Mahaprabhu gave a blessing to the extent that touching his heart.
Yeah.
And how come it means like when he is making a so serious offense to a Krishna, which is topmost offense in our bhakti can get a loss.
Actually, Prabhu, when you read the pastime carefully, Amog Leela's offense was to Mahaprabhu. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, the question. Okay, sorry. Yeah, the question is, Amog Leela in Chaitanya Charitamrita, he committed an offense to Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, his father-in-law. And yet Mahaprabhu excused him. Because when he fell ill, Mahaprabhu came, touched him, his heart, and revived him and purified him. So how is it that despite performing such a terrible offense to a devotee, the Lord forgave such a person? So I'm just replying that if you read the pastime carefully, you'll find that Amog Leela, his main offense was to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Because when Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, his father-in-law, invited Mahaprabhu for prasadam, he actually criticized Mahaprabhu. He said, very loudly, he said, how can sannyasis eat food which is fit for a king? What kind of sannyasi is this? You imagine, you walk past someone and then you say, what kind of person is this eating so much? And then you are eating so much. You know, it must be me, So it was very, very badly done, Amog Leela. When he did that first time, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya became very upset and he wanted to beat him. He ran away and came back again and did the same thing. And then he ran away. So Bhattacharya came to Mahaprabhu, fell at his feet and cried and begged forgiveness on behalf of his son-in-law. In fact, he told Mahaprabhu that my daughter should not be married to him any longer because of his offense. Because of his offense. But Mahaprabhu turned to Bhattacharya and told him, what is his offense actually? What is his offense? Bhattacharya said, what do you mean, Lord? He criticized you. Mahaprabhu said, what he said is factual. There is truth to what he said. How can a sannyasi eat so much? What will people think? So Mahaprabhu showed us in that Leela that even if people criticize us, we should think there must be a grain of truth in that criticism. If the Lord himself can think that way, why should we not think that way? So actually, Prabhu, our acharyas tell us that the offense that Amog Leela did was to Mahaprabhu. If the offense was to Bhattacharya, I think it would have been how Mahaprabhu reacted to Nityananda Prabhu being hit by Jagai and Madai. Then he would have become very angry. And then it would have been left to Nityananda Prabhu to say, Mahaprabhu, please calm down. But because it was to Mahaprabhu himself, he did not take offense. So when Amog Leela became very sick because of his offenses, Mahaprabhu went there and touched his heart and told him, revive your own devotional service. This is not you, Amog Leela. So does it help, Prabhu? Yeah, so that's important to understand. Let's chant Krishna's names because we are running out of time. So how should we chant Krishna's names? We should chant against the background of understanding this verse on Ekadashi. That we should be grateful to Krishna. We should remember Krishna. We should use whatever time we have to see the hand of Krishna. And we should remember this great demon Maya Danava. Because of one touch of the lotus feet of a devotee, in whatever mood that he did, it purified him, it saved him. How much more then it would save all of us who are struggling day and night to try to become devotees. These verses should encourage us. Don't be morose in the discharge of your devotional service. If devotional service cannot make you smile, then better you go back to material world. You came here because you wanted to smile. If you can't smile, you always look morose. Might as well you become Pakka demon. Even the demons smile more than devotees sometimes, isn't it? So we should learn to be happy in devotional service.